Hey guys, it's Nick from Pick MMA and I'm back with another video for you guys. We did really good on the last card. We went 10-2 overall, and let's just go over the card how we did on the last card overall. So for the first fight on the card we had were Sang-Hoo Choi versus Jarno Aarons. I think I picked Choi from the start. I thought Choi was gonna win this fight, but it was going to be very close, and it was close. Choi did get dropped again. This dude gets dropped in every fight. It's just like he's got to work on his striking defense. He gets really lazy, leaves the chin in the center line, and Aarons was able to touch that chin and knock him down, but he wasn't able to find the finish. And Choi got the reversal takedowns and pretty much banked 2 rounds out of 3 and won by unanimous decision. So that was a good win for Choi. Good bounce back win after 3 defeats in a row. Sorry guys. In the next fight we had a pretty big favorite, JJ Aldrich, defeating Na Liang. I did say JJ Aldrich was gonna get a finish in this fight because Na Liang doesn't have good durability. Before this fight he was finished in the first round like twice, and now again she has like 1 round cardio, so if she's fighting 1 round fights, she can probably win those fights. But after 1 round her cardio falls off a cliff, and JJ Aldrich got the mount and pretty much landed ground and pound, got her out of there. In the next fight we had Billy Goff defeating Kinosita. I thought if I think I picked Billy Goff first, but then I changed my pick because I thought he was gonna have a hard time getting Kinosita down to the ground, but he didn't really need to get him to the ground. He landed a nasty body shot, just folded Kinosita to the ground with a nasty body hook. Billy Goff is a fucking dog, man. This dude is an absolute dog. And in the next fight we had a Kenan Song with a pretty big upset over Rolando Bedoya. Bedoya was doing good in the first round and he pretty much just faded as the fight went longer. Kenan Song was getting hurt in the first round, was getting his legs like ripped apart by the leg kicks over Bedoya. But Bedoya just faded, man. I think it was him fighting really in the morning at this time. It could have an effect on some fighters, but you just don't know what happened to Bedoya in that fight. Then he started eating some big shots from Kenan Song in the second and third round. Song almost had him out of there in the third round. I don't know how Bedoya stayed in the fight, but he just, I don't know, I'm not gonna say he got exposed or anything, but he's got to work on his cardio, man. You can't be losing to these veterans at this point when you're 20 something years old and still fresh in the game. So Bedoya, we got to see what happens with Bedoya from here on. But that was a good win for Kenan Song. Yeah, I had Bedoya in a safety parlay. I should have not put him in the safety parlay. I could have probably put a lot of other people with better money line values in the safety parlay, but I made a mistake there. A lot of people lost money on Bedoya, I think. Anyways, guys, let's go to the next fight. The next fight we had Chidi versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. At first, I picked the Chidi Njokwanu. I even put like a half a unit bet on him at plus money. But then as the line moved on, it was almost a pick'em. I cashed out my bet on Chidi Njokwanu because I just don't like his durability at this point in the game. He did have some early success. Almost had Mikhail Oleksiejczuk out of there in the first round, but then like I don't know. His striking defense is so bad. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk was landing some big shots, got him to the mat, and just landed some vicious ground and pound and got him out of there. So I'm glad I changed my pick to Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I like that he's younger, he's still improving, he's still learning. I think he's still gonna have a hard time fighting these long rangy strikers. But it's good to see him getting the takedowns and then finishing the fights with the ground and pound. So he's very dangerous. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is super dangerous once he gets you to the ground. And you don't want a guy like Mikhail Oleksiejczuk on top of you landing those big bombs. And yeah, Chidi just really couldn't get out of that position, and the referee stepped in. Good stoppage there. The next fight we had Armfield defeating Kazama by knockout. I did pick Armfield by money line, so that was a good bet. I personally didn't bet on him because I thought Kazama was a dangerous guy with his jiu-jitsu, so I stayed off this fight. I didn't really bet anything on this fight. And the next fight we had Waldo Cortez Acosta. I had a lot of money on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Yeah, he pretty much just knocked Berjeski out cold, like had him on the chicken legs. Just Cortez Acosta looked good, man. A lot of late money was coming in on Lucas Berjeski, but I'm glad I stayed with Waldo Cortez Acosta. I had like 3-4 units on the guy on the money line. The money line was like -205, so you did get a good value on Waldo Cortez Acosta. As long as he keeps fighting these low level heavyweights, I think he's gonna keep winning against these lower level heavyweight fighters who don't really have much skill and much athleticism. So really good bounce back win for Waldo Cortez Acosta, and he got his first finish in the UFC. I hope he's gonna be finishing more people from here on. In the next fight we had another heavyweight fight, Junitafa defeating Parker Porter. A lot of people were picking Parker Porter, man. Those people I don't know where they're at. What the hell were those people thinking, the people that picked Parker Porter? This dude's got no striking, man. He cannot strike. He got knocked out cold in the first round. Like, so many people are picking Parker Porter here. I just don't get it. Like, what? Like, these handicappers that are picking Parker Porter need to go get an MRI scan. Like, I called it. I was like, yo, Junitafa is going to be drilling takedown defense. And Parker Porter is not this dominant wrestler that people are making him out to be. Like, that's what happened. Parker Porter, he got clipped on the feet. He tried to like land some big bombs on the feet, then went for a takedown. Junitafa defended perfectly. And man, Junitafa is a problem. This dude's got big power in his hands. Got some good fucking striking on the feet. Good. He's got speed also at heavyweight. And I think he's gonna have a lot of success, man. These Tafa brothers are gonna have a lot of success in the UFC against these fat old heavyweights. There's a big age gap too. Like, how can you pick a heavyweight who doesn't know how to strike and isn't even a dominant wrestler at 38 years old? Like, all the people that picked Parker Porter need to go get an MRI scan. They need to go get checked out. But like, what is wrong with you guys picking Parker Porter? This dude had no chance in that fight. And in the next fight again, we had Aaron Blanchfield defeating Tyler Santos. Where are all the people that picked Tyler Santos, man? Tyler Santos is not this dominant wrestler. He couldn't even get a takedown. I know Aaron Blanchfield couldn't get a takedown, but Tyler Santos was on the defensive the whole fight. Like, he had nothing for Aaron Blanchfield, man. Where are all the people that were picking Tyler Santos? A lot of people had bets on Tyler Santos, man. She won the first round. Congratulations to her. But man, she had nothing for Aaron in the second and third round. She was just trying to like run the clock defending takedowns. Like, you don't win fights defending the whole fight. Like, I'm glad I was on the Aaron Blanchfield side and I picked her by decision. Like, I'm so glad I didn't like get into the hype of Tyler Santos. Like, all the people that picked Parker Porter were also picking Tyler Santos. So those people need to go get checked up. And in the next fight we had Rinya Nakamura defeating Fernie Garcia. Man, Fernie Garcia is a tough dude. This dude just doesn't get finished ever. Like, I don't know what this dude is made out of. Like, Rinya Nakamura dominated him from the bell. Fernie Garcia really didn't have much for him. So that was a total domination by Rinya Nakamura. Good win for Rinya Nakamura. It's good seeing him go all 15 minutes. Good experience for him because he's only going to be fighting tougher guys from here on out. And you don't want to see young prospects getting early knockouts in the first round and not going the distance. This is a good learning experience. He's gonna use this experience as the fights get tougher from here on from Rinya Nakamura. Let's see who the UFC matches Rinya Nakamura up from here on out. But man, Fernie Garcia just doesn't have much in the UFC. This dude he's got good boxing, but his takedown defense is so horrible. Like, I don't think he should be in the UFC. Fernie Garcia, I know he's faced some good competition, but losing to Jordy Newshin, you shouldn't be in the UFC, man. But really good win for Rinya Nakamura here. And then we had Giga Chikate versus Alex Caceres. I picked Alex Caceres first, but then the more I thought about this fight, the more I was thinking, oh, Alex Caceres doesn't go for takedowns, man. This dude didn't even attempt one takedown in the fight. He was landing about the same volume that Giga Chikate was landing, but Giga Chikate was landing the bigger, more impactful shots on the feet. He is the better kickboxer, like I said before. But I thought maybe Alex Caceres can mix in some takedowns, but you just can't trust a guy that doesn't go for takedowns. Like the day before, I changed my pick to Giga Chikate, and I had a big bet on him too. I had like 2 units at minus 220 on Giga Chikate to win. I didn't really bet any props on this fight, but Caceres is a tough dude, man. This dude's got a chin on him, and a really good bounce back win for Giga Chikate. And the next fight in the co-main event, we had Anthony Smith defeating Ryan Spann. I did live bet Ryan Spann at plus money, but man, this dude just doesn't. You can't trust Ryan Spann. You can't trust him to go out there and land enough volume to win decisions. And like the only thing you can bet on Ryan Spann is to get a knockout or submission. He's a good finisher, but he doesn't know how to win fights. But I still thought Ryan Spann should have got the decision because Anthony Smith's whole face was busted up, man. Ryan Spann was the one landing more damage on Anthony Smith. Go look at Anthony Smith's eye, man. It was almost like closed. He couldn't even see out of his left eye. And Spann almost finished him in the second round. Had him in big trouble. But I don't know how the judges, they gave the decision to Anthony Smith based on more significant strikes, I think. Anyhow, man, I'm pretty pissed off about that decision. I thought Ryan Spann did enough, but anyhow, that's what happens when you leave fights so close in the judges' hands. Let's see what happens with Anthony Smith and Ryan Spann from here on out. And in the main event, we had Korean Zombie versus Max Holloway, and I picked Max Holloway. I think I picked him by decision first, but then as I thought about the fight, I changed it to by knockout in the 5th round. But man, Chan Sung Jung, he was fighting pretty smart, man. It was he was landing some shots, he was having some success. But Max Holloway's chin is just made out of like something else. And Chan Sung Jung, he was getting picked apart in the 2nd round, 3rd round, I think. He just pretty much just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it. And Max Holloway landed a perfect counter and put him out cold. Man, it was kind of sad to see Zombie laid out flat like that. I'm glad he retired. We don't have to see him keep fighting these killers at 145. He is getting up there in age. He's already done a lot for the sport of MMA. Man, Zombie's always gonna be remembered. He's always gonna have a special place in my heart. And I hope he enjoys his retirement, man. He's gonna be one of those people that are always gonna be remembered throughout the UFC. He's definitely a Hall of Fame fighter. I think he deserves to be a Hall of Fame, but I don't know if they're gonna put him in the Hall of Fame. He did have some big fights that are Hall of Fame worthy, so I hope they do that for him. But man, big win, big finish for Max Holloway. He finally got a finish after so long. So yeah, man, good. I'm really happy for Max Holloway, but I'm happy for Zombie too. I'm glad he retired. But yeah, man, let's talk about the next fight card. We have Gane versus Spivak. The first fight on this card is we have Farid Basharat versus Clayton Rodriguez. Let's look at the stats, man. So the Farid Basharat is a very well-rounded fighter, very good technical striking on the feet. His striking defense is very good, man. He lands a lot of volume. So Clayton Rodriguez is also a very good striker. Not really the grappler that Farid Basharat is. But look at the significant striking defense, man. I think this fight's gonna go all 3 rounds. I don't see anyone finishing the fight in this fight. And both of these guys land a lot more volume than they absorb. So really good striking defense for both of these guys. But Farid Basharat has the better striking defense on the feet. But the grappling is gonna go to Farid Basharat. This guy averages 3 takedowns per 15 minutes, whereas Clayton Rodriguez averages almost 1 per 15 minutes per fight. So the takedown accuracy for Farid Basharat is 60%. That's very, very high up there. And the takedown accuracy for Clayton Rodriguez is 25%. Not really all that good. But he's not a grappler, man. He's a striker first, so that makes sense there. Striking defense for 83% is very, very underrated for Farid Basharat. Very good high level takedown defense for Farid Basharat here. But 66% is not too bad. But I do think Farid Basharat is gonna be mixing in takedowns. Even if he stays on the feet, I think Farid Basharat is gonna outpoint him on the feet. Farid Basharat has faced a better competition overall. If you look at it, if you look at the guys that Clayton Rodriguez has faced, you can see here he's faced coming into UFC, faced Santa Curatolo, who's probably not UFC level, but he beat him by unanimous decision. Then he dropped a win to lost to Cesar Vergara, who's a pretty good fighter, but that fight was very, very close. Then he bounced back and got a knockout win over Shannon Ross, who's not really a UFC level fighter in my opinion. Shannon Ross has been knocked out like 3-4 times now in a row, so I'm not really gonna hold it too high. But yeah, that's a pretty good win there. But yeah, man, Farid Basharat is undefeated right now. I came into the UFC, got a win over Alan Begagoso. Then he beat Damon Blackshear, who's a very good fighter. Damon Blackshear had a lot of success against Batista, but Farid Basharat beat him by unanimous decision. So that's a really good win there for Farid Basharat. I do think Clayton Rodriguez is the more dangerous fighter out of the two. He is gonna be more dangerous with his striking. He does load up when he strikes a little bit. But I do think this fight's gonna go long, and I think Farid Basharat's gonna win by unanimous decision. Let's go to the next fight now. We have Angelusa versus McKee. We have Angelusa coming in at 5'10", 74-inch reach, and we have McKee coming in at 6'2", with the 78-inch reach. So McKee does have 4 inches in reach advantage over Angelusa, but he does have 4 inches in height also, so he's going to be the much taller fighter here. But I think the durability is going to go to Angelusa here. He's going to be more durable. He does have a really good chin. I think Angelusa has more power, and he's faced a much better competition overall. If you look at the guys that Angelusa has faced, both of these guys have faced pretty good competition in the UFC, even though they're only been in the UFC for a little bit. But yeah, look at this. Coming into UFC, he faced Jack Della Maddalena in his in Contender Series, and he only lost by unanimous decision. So that tells you this dude has a pretty good chin. Then he got a win over John Howard at the ex-MMA. But then he came back at the UFC, dropped a L to Munir Lazez, who's a pretty good striker, pretty good well-rounded fighter. Then he came back into the UFC another time. And in his last fight, he got a win over AJ Fletcher. That fight was a dog fight. But AJ Fletcher's a good wrestler, man, and Angelusa was able to take him down over and over and land some big strikes on the feet also. Rice McKee, I mean, he's a good striker, good technical striker, but doesn't have good takedown defense. You can see here, he's a good, he lands good volume on the feet, significant strikes accuracy, but he does absorb a lot of strikes, man. That's the one thing about him. He has been knocked out twice before. If you can look over here, McKee's been knocked out like a couple times now by now. He's been knocked out twice. Half of his losses are by knockout, so he's been knocked out once in the UFC. I think that was to Hamzat Chimaev, so that's a pretty good. I'm not gonna hold that KO loss against him too much, but then he lost to Alex Morono, who's a pretty well-rounded UFC fighter. But then he went back into the Cage Warriors, got 3 wins in a row over some pretty good competition. But I think this is gonna be a hard fight for him. I think Angelusa is gonna win this fight. I'm gonna say Angelusa by decision. That's how he normally wins this fight. But don't be shocked if Angelusa lands a big bomb and puts Rice McKee out cold. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Angelusa. He's a minus 180 favorite right now. I think Angelusa is sitting at minus 180. I'm gonna go with Angelusa to win by decision. Let's go to the next fight. We have Nora Cornolle versus Jocelyn Edwards, and we don't have any stats on this girl here yet. But let's look at the Nora Cornolle. Jocelyn versus Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn Edwards is on a roll right now. She's won her 3 out of her last 5 fights, and the losses are to Jessica Rose Clark and Carol Hosa. Carol Hosa is a pretty good fighter, and that was like 2 years ago. But Nora Cornolle, coming in at 34 years old. Wow, I did not think she was that old. But she hasn't faced the best competition yet in her career, but she is finishing these girls at the lower end. But I do think I'm gonna go with Jocelyn Edwards here. I'm not really betting on this fight, but I do think Jocelyn Edwards can keep this fight on the feet, mixing. She's the longer fighter at 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Trains out of King's MMA. We just had Giga Chikate out of King's MMA get a win yesterday. So King's MMA doing some. They're on a roll right now. They're doing good right now. They have some good fighters over there that can train with each other. But yeah, man, Jocelyn Edwards training out of Panama. France, they are fighting in France, so you don't know if this fight is close. Maybe the judges give it to Nora Cornolle. But I'm gonna go with Jocelyn Edwards as a slight favorite at minus 125 to win by decision. Let's go to the next fight. We have Fern versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Wow, Jacqueline Cavalcanti is a big favorite at minus 320. God damn, what are people thinking betting on her? Wow, minus 355, 4-1 favorite almost. That's crazy to me. But yeah, man, Jura, she's on a 3-fight losing streak right now. She lost by submission to Megan Anderson, then got knocked out by Felisa Spencer, then dropped a unanimous decision win to Josiah Nunes, who's not really all that good. I don't think Jura Fern, I think people are writing her off, but she hasn't really done anything to prove herself at the UFC level. So it kind of makes sense that this girl that's coming into the UFC and making her UFC debut is a big favor, but I wouldn't really parlay her or bet on her at minus 320. Hell no. Even now she's sitting at minus 350. That is crazy, man. If you have a bet on Jacqueline at minus 320 or minus 350, more power to you guys, man. I'm not really looking to bet on this fight, but I am gonna pick Jacqueline to win by decision. Sorry guys, my throat's a little dry. I gotta get some water. But yeah, guys, let's go to the next fight. We have Taylor Lapilus versus Moises Gafurov, and Taylor Lapilus, whatever his name is a very good striker. He's been in the UFC before. I think he's had fights in the UFC before. Or am I tripping? Yeah, he's been in the UFC before. He was 3-1 in the UFC. He had 1 win by knockout. That was quite a while ago, though. That was like back in 2015, 2016. So he does have some wins at the UFC level. He's got a finish too at the UFC level. So he's making his comeback right now. Since then, he's only lost 2 fights, and those were by unanimous decision. He's faced some good level competition, man. Nate Maness is in the UFC, so he's fighting against good level competition. Marco Barrino, pretty good fighters. I mean, these are like below the UFC level, but some of them are in the UFC level. So he's on a roll right now. He's on a what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 win streak right now. Fighting against Moises Gafurov. Moises Gafurov didn't really impress me too much last time. This dude doesn't win decisions, so if the fights go long, he's usually gonna lose his fights by decision. Not really. He does have some KO power, but he throws looping hooks too much. He doesn't really. He was going for takedowns against John Castaneda. That fight was pretty close, but I thought John Castaneda did enough to win the decision there. Man, Moin Gafurov is pretty dangerous on the feet. He's got good power shots on the feet. He's got good spinning back fist, spinning back kicks, and pretty well-rounded fighter. He's got pretty good cardio also. I think the cardio is gonna go to Moin Gafurov here. He's gonna be, but I think if this fight stays on the feet, I think Taylor Lapilus is gonna outstrike Moin Gafurov and maybe even have him in some trouble. So Taylor is the better striker here, more technical striker, absorbs less, has much better striking defense, but the grappling is gonna go to Moin Gafurov. So Moin Gafurov does get some takedowns here, which I don't think is gonna be likely, because Taylor does have really good takedown defense at 81%. But I think Moin Gafurov can make this fight closer, man. I don't like the odds on this fight. Moin Gafurov sitting at plus 160 and Taylor Lapilus coming back at minus 192. I think the odds are okay where they are. But Moin Gafurov is a pretty good dog. He is live to win this fight if he starts getting the takedowns and worrying on Taylor Lapilus, like Aaron Blanchfield was worrying on Tyler Santos. I think this fight can go the same way, but I'm gonna pick Taylor Lapilus by decision, or maybe even a knockout, man. Because Moin Gafurov, he is tough, but he has been clipped before. He's never been knocked out or submitted. Wow. I'm gonna say Taylor Lapilus to win by decision. We have a lot of decisions here right now, man. But this fight's gonna be tricky, this card. Let's go to the next fight. We don't really have the pictures or stats here. I think for both of these guys, they're making their UFC debut. We gotta go to Tapology here to get their stats and fight history. So the next fight on the prelims is Morgan Serrier versus Manolo Giacchini. I don't really know much about these guys, but I did watch some of Morgan's previous Cage Warrior fights, and he's pretty good, man. He's got some good kickboxing, good punching power, but when the fights are close and he's not able to put his opponents away, the fights are close, so it's not like he's winning clearly, outstriking his opponents, but he does have a habit of slowing down late in the fight, and I don't think Manolo Giacchini is gonna be the guy that's gonna be putting it on Morgan here. He's a pretty big underdog here. I'm not really looking to bet on this fight because Morgan hasn't really proved himself yet in the UFC. These fighters that come out of the Cage Warriors, they're pretty big favorites, like George Hardwick. You guys remember George Hardwick? He was fighting on Dana White Contender Series. He was like a 4-1 favorite, and just got outstruck on the feet, out grappled, just dropped the big egg. A lot of people had money on George Hardwick, who had a pretty good record at the Cage Warriors. So I'm not really gonna trust Morgan with my money here, but I think he's gonna win this fight. I will say that this dude is a pretty tough dude, man. He's gonna be live, but he does have a habit of getting clipped on the feet and getting out, letting his opponents sink in the choke also. So he's live to getting finished. Hasn't faced the best competition yet. He's been fighting out of some VFC level just you don't know what the fighters that he's fighting. Yeah, just not the best level of competition that he's been fighting. I'm gonna go with Morgan to win, but I don't really have any money on this fight. I'm gonna say Morgan by knockout. But yeah, let's go to the next fight. We have Yanis Gemuri versus Cornolle Laferen. I mean, this is a hard name to pronounce. I'm not really good with names, but these are some crazy ass names. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go with Cornolle Laferen. But he's a pretty big favorite here. He is fighting out of Cage Warriors also. He's been looking really good at Cage Warriors. undefeated, so his confidence is gonna be at an all-time high. He has really good kickboxing on the feet, really good power. He's got some good like explosive takedowns also. He's really good. Once he goes for the takedowns, he's just gonna like run through you. That's the type of takedowns that Cornolle likes to go for. Good. He's got good level competition. I think he's faced a much better competition than Yanis has overall. But I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Cornolle to get a knockout here. Yeah, I'm gonna go by knockout. Cornolle to get a knockout in the second round. Let's go to the main card now, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to hitting 100 subscribers. We only need 24 subscribers to get to 100. So don't forget to do that, guys. We're gonna get into the main card now. Wow, we were already at the main card. My bad, guys. But let's go to the next fight on the main card. We have William Gomes versus Lucas Almeida. So William Gomes is let's go to this one where we can get some more stats on these guys. So William Gomes coming off a split decision win over Francis Marceau, who just got absolutely sparked by who did he get sparked by? I forgot. The new guy who just had 5 fights. Francis Marceau just got sparked by Isaac Dulgarian. Yeah, Dulgarian seems like the real deal. But yeah, I was impressed by William Gomes. He was a pretty big underdog in that fight. He was like a 2-1 underdog against Francis Marceau. Yeah, there's too much hype on Marceau when he came into the UFC. But yeah, William Gomes is a long-rangey kickboxer with good striking. Doesn't really have a lot of power. He's got good grappling also. Good anti-grappling. Means he knows how to defend takedowns. He can be taken down, but he knows how to stay safe on the ground. But I don't think he's gonna have to worry about that in this fight. This is a pretty much striker's fight. Lucas Almeida coming off a loss to Pat Sabatini, where he got absolutely grappled and really didn't have an answer for Pat Sabatini's grappling. Just got mauled and gave up a submission in the second round. It kind of looked like he pretty much just gave up. Didn't really know much to do in that fight. Let's look at some stats. So I'm gonna say Lucas Almeida is the more powerful striker. He's gonna land more volume also. He's also absorbing way more strikes on the feet. He's no one's really gonna be looking to grapple. I think if anyone is gonna be looking to grapple, it might be William Gomes, because he could make some takedowns here, because he does go for takedowns, 1.5 takedowns per fight, and takedown accuracy is 60%, and really good takedown defense at 71%. But Gomes hasn't faced anyone like Pat Sabatini, so there is that. But Gomes is gonna be taller by an inch, with the 2 inches in reach advantage. But this fight's gonna be tricky, man, because Lucas Almeida throws hammers on the feet. He's got good power, good hooks on the feet, and he's gonna be live for a knockout throughout the whole fight. But I'm gonna pick William Gomes to outstrike him on the feet and maybe mix in a takedown here and there. We have seen how bad Lucas Almeida's takedown defense is. 40% takedown defense is not really good in the UFC. I do think he's gonna mix in some takedowns. I'm gonna go William Gomes by decision. Let's go to the next fight now. We have Volkan Oezdemir versus Bogdan Guskov. And we gotta get some more information on Bogdan Guskov. Sorry, guys. So Volkan Oezdemir has been in the UFC forever now. We've seen Volkan Oezdemir. This dude is a good, powerful striker. Doesn't really have the best cardio. 6-6 in the UFC, so he's like a 500 level fighter at this point in his career. He's coming off a win over Paul Craig back in 2022 by unanimous decision. Also has a win over Alexander Rakis back in 2019. But he has faced really good competition, man. Bogdan Guskov hasn't really faced the level of competition that Volkan Oezdemir has faced. But this dude's been looking pretty damn good. so far. This is gonna be his UFC debut against a pretty good kickboxer in Oezdemir. This fight is tricky to pick because both of these guys are very powerful strikers. Bogdan is gonna be younger by 3 years old, but I like the experience for Oezdemir, but I don't like his gas tank. That's the one thing that really scares me for Oezdemir. I am gonna pick Oezdemir on his UFC experience of 12 fights, but I'm not really looking to bet on this fight. I think if you are gonna be betting, under 2.5 could be live here. But yeah, personally for me, I'm not really gonna be betting on Oezdemir. I might drop take a stab on Bogdan Guskov by with the money line at underdog value. He's sitting at Bogdan sitting at plus 135, plus 140. But a lot of late money is coming in on Bogdan Guskov against Oezdemir, who doesn't really have the best cardio but does have a lot of power. So Guskov is gonna have to survive the first round against Oezdemir, who hits like a truck. A lot of power, but if this fight goes long, I think Bogdan Guskov can get back into the fight and even win this fight. This fight is gonna be very, very 50-50 fight, but I'm gonna pick Oezdemir to win by knockout. But I'm just not really gonna trust him with my money, to be honest. I might play Oezdemir KO prop in the first round, because that's gonna be his most likely path to victory. Let's go to the next fight. Now we have the featured fight on the main card. We have Benoit Saint-Denis versus Thiago Moises. Benoit Saint-Denis coming off a pretty dominant first round submission over Ismail Bonfim. That was a really good win for him. Just dominated Ismail, landed some crazy, nasty body kicks on the feet, and just took him down and sinked in that choke really fast. There's only like 12 seconds left in the fight, and Ismail Bonfim just didn't defend that rear naked choke and got choked out badly. So Benoit Saint-Denis coming off, he's on a 3-fight winning streak right now. All finishes in this first and second round over some pretty good competition. Nicholas Stoltz, and then Gabriel Miranda, and now Ismail Bonfim. I think his confidence is going to be an all-time high. Let's look at the stats now, guys. So I think Benoit Saint-Denis is going to be the better wrestler here. I also think Benoit Saint-Denis is going to have better striking here. Thiago Moises is I think he's probably going to be better with the jiu-jitsu, but he's not really like a dominant wrestler anywhere. I do think Benoit Saint-Denis is going to be, if he does get the wrestling going, I think he's going to be live to get a submission. But it is gonna be tough against a guy like Thiago Moises, who has also got very good jiu-jitsu on the ground. I do think the knockout power is gonna go to Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis, what's the age for him? Benoit Saint-Denis, 27 years old, so very, very young right now in the game. Thiago Moises, 28 years old, so Saint-Denis is like a year younger, so both these guys are still in their 20s, still not in their prime, I think. But I do like what I saw from Benoit Saint-Denis in his last fight, because he was fighting a really powerful striker on the feet in Ismail Bonfim, and he was able to use his game plan, get him down and sink in that choke really fast. Just dominated Ismail Bonfim with that wrestling. I don't think Thiago Moises would have done that to Ismail Bonfim, to be honest. Thiago Moises has faced good competition in the UFC. He's 6-4 in the UFC, so he's been in the UFC for a while. He's faced Islam Makhachev, so he's been to the 4th round with Islam Makhachev, where he got dominated from pillar to post. But before that, he's got some good wins, man. He got a good win over Michael Johnson, got a submission over him. Bobby Green beat him by unanimous decision. Beat Alexander Hernandez, beat Krista Giagos by first round rear naked choke, and then just beat Melquizo Costa by second round rear naked choke. So man, this dude is very, very dangerous if he gets you to the ground. But I think he's gonna have a hard time getting Saint-Denis to the ground, whose wrestling is gonna be better. And he's also on a 3-fight win streak right now, really putting things together right now. His only loss in the UFC is against Alessio Gillespie, whose fights at 170. But now I think Saint-Denis coming back at 155. I think he's gonna have a success over a guy like Diego Moises. I do have a bet on Saint-Denis. The lines really moved on Saint-Denis because Saint-Denis was underdog in this fight before, so the lines have flipped to Saint-Denis being the favorite now at -155 and even -150. I got Saint-Denis at -135. On the money line, I have like a 1.5 unit on him right now. I do think that cashes because I do think he's gonna be the better fighter everywhere, but he is gonna have to watch out for the. He's gonna have to be careful once he gets to Moises to the ground, because Moises is very dangerous. If he finds reverses a position on the ground, I think Moises can also find the submission. But I do trust Benoit Saint-Denis to stay safe in those positions, and I think him being a better striker on the feet, he's also learning to strike. He's also getting better in the striking now. We have seen him use more kicks to the body, and you let his hands go a little bit. He is getting really comfortable fighting these good strikers, but this is gonna be a tough one. I think the A side is on Benoit Saint-Denis, really putting things together right now. Moises is like you can't really trust Moises because sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. But look at the strikes that Benoit Saint-Denis lands. He lands almost 4.1 strikes landed per minute. Has a better striking defense. Has a better significant strike accuracy. Absorbs more strikes per minute at 6, which is a lot. But I think the striking defense, the grappling is gonna be what's gonna be telling us a lot in this fight. Almost 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. So that's really good for Benoit Saint-Denis. Takedown accuracy is at 29%, so not the best, but he is learning on the job, really putting things together. Takedown defense 85%. That's really, really good. I think that's really gonna help Saint-Denis here. I think if Moises goes for his own takedowns, he's not gonna have success. And if Saint-Denis gets him to the ground, I think he's gonna have success with his on the ground. I think almost 2 submissions attempts per 15 minutes, so that's really, he's gonna be live to get a submission there. So I am picking Benoit Saint-Denis. I'm gonna pick Benoit Saint-Denis by maybe by decision if he out grapples him, or maybe I'm gonna pick him by finish. Benoit Saint-Denis by finish. I think we have seen Moises finish before, but we have seen him get knocked out once before and get submitted once by Islam Makhachev. So I don't know if Benoit Saint-Denis is on the level of Islam Makhachev, but I think both of these guys are gonna be grappling, and one of them can find a submission. I think it's gonna be Benoit Saint-Denis. Let's go to the next fight now. The next fight on the main card, we have Fiorot versus Rose Namajunas. I am picking Manon Fiorot here. I think Rose Namajunas is going up in weight here. Let's look at the fights. So this is the co-main event of the evening. We have Rose Namajunas, who is the former 2-time champion. Got some really good wins over some UFC champions. She's 9-4 in the UFC. There's some really good wins. She's got a win over Joanna, beat her twice. Joanna's not really in her prime right now, but she beat her when she was in her prime. Then she got knocked out by Jessica Andrade, who just slammed her to the ground. Then beat Jessica Andrade. After that, had a rematch. Beat Zhang Weili by a head kick in the first round. That's a really good win there. Then beat Zhang Weili again by a split decision. But she is moving up in weight here. I think this is going to be tougher for her. She is 31 years old. In her last fight, I just didn't like how she didn't throw a lot of volume. Just didn't want to really engage in the fight with the Cornolle Esparza, who didn't really look that good, to be honest. And she was getting taken down. Cornolle Esparza just outworked her pretty much. And I think Manon can pretty much do the same. I mean, look at she's better. I think Manon is the better striker. She's got more power at 55% knockout ratio, which is very good in the UFC. Look at the volume that she lands. Manon lands almost 5.3 significant strikes landed per minute, whereas Rose lands about 3.5. And the significant strike accuracy is better with Manon. Absorbs a little bit less than Rose, and the significant strike defense is better with Rose here. I do think Rose has proved herself. But she's already been the champion. She's already made it to where Manon wants to make it to. I just don't know if Rose is gonna be hungry to get back into the belt title shot. I do think she's gonna have a hard time taking Manon down, and I think the striking. I think Manon's gonna be a little bit more. She's gonna be hitting her with a little bit more sting on the punches. Takedown accuracy does concern me for Manon, but I don't think she's gonna have to take Rose down in this fight. I am gonna go with the Manon here at -180. I do think you can parlay Manon with like someone else that you like. But I think you can even parlay Manon with like someone like Farid Basharat. That's a pretty good parlay. I just don't like what I saw from Rose in her last fight, and she got out-grappled in a grappling match against Julian Robertson. So I just don't know if her head's still in the game right now. It doesn't seem like she's all that motivated to get back into the title shot. And that loss against Cornolle Esparza, I just didn't really like what she did against her. Really didn't throw a lot of volume. And I think Manon is going to be landing a lot more volume in this fight. She's going to be winning the minutes. Unless Rose lands like a head kick or something, that's the only way I see her winning this fight. I just don't like what I saw from Rose in her last fight. If you look at the stats here, I mean, she's better everywhere. And she's also going to be the bigger girl here. Manon is 5'7" with a 65-inch reach. So the reach is about the same, but she's taller and bigger. Rose normally fights at a flyweight at 115. This is going to be, now she's moving up at 125. I think she's not going to have a lot of success at 125. Rose always wasn't like a big flyweight, to be honest. And now her moving up, I don't know how it's going to go for her. But I am picking Manon here to win by decision. I'm going to go Manon Fiorot by decision. You could even get a knockout if she really lets her punches go. But I think Rose is pretty tough. It's going to be hard to put her away. I'm going to go Manon by a money line at -180. Let's go to the next fight now, the main event of the evening, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And we're going to be talking about the main event now. We have Gane versus Sergey Spivak. Gane is a kickboxer in this fight. He's a striker. Really good technical striker. Really good in and out movement on the feet. He's really, if this fight stays on the feet, I think Gane's going to win this fight 9 out of 10 times. Sergey Spivak is a grappler mostly. His wins mostly come when he gets the fight to the ground and gets a dominant position over his opponents, like a choke, like a submission, or he gets a really dominant and lets his punches go and gets his opponents out of there. That's you definitely don't want to be underneath Sergey Spivak. This dude is very, very heavy grappler. It's gonna be really hard for Gane if he does go to the ground against Sergey Spivak. But Gane is a much better striker, more power on the feet, faced a much better competition, coming off a loss to John Jones, who's the best fighter ever. probably the best fighter ever with Alexander Volkanovski. But yeah, man, Ciryl Gane, I think him facing the better guys, if he has worked on his takedown defense, I don't know how much he can really work on his takedown defense. But that's the one thing that does worry me about Ciryl Gane, because he does get taken down really easily. And now he's facing a guy that's going to be looking to take him down over and over and over and over. I just don't know how he's going to be able to, if he's going to be able to get up if he gets taken down. That's the one thing that worries me about Ciryl Gane. But look at the takedowns average. Sergey Spivak lands about 5 takedowns per 15 minutes. So that tells you he's not really controlling his opponents on the feet. His opponents are able to get up once he gets them to the ground. Guys like Derek Lewis aren't going to be able to get up because Derek Lewis has no get up game once he gets taken down. But yeah, I think Ciryl Gane being much more athletic than Sergey Spivak here. And in this training camp, I think he is going to be working on his takedown defense. And as long as he defends a couple of takedown attempts from Sergey Spivak, I think his confidence is gonna be all-time high. And this is gonna be happening in France, Paris. So I think the crowd's gonna be cheering for Ciryl Gane. I think Sergey Spivak is gonna be a little bit nervous maybe. But this is a 50-50 fight, man. This is if Ciryl Gane can keep this fight on the feet, Ciryl Gane's gonna win. If Sergey Spivak gets this fight to the ground, Sergey Spivak is gonna win. But I don't think this fight's gonna go 5 rounds. I think the under 3.5, even under 2.5 should be a bet that you can make here. But I am gonna pick Ciryl Gane here. I'm gonna trust the guy one more time against the grappler. I think Gane is still making improvements. I think he can keep this fight on the feet, and we have seen Sergey Spivak against Tom Aspinall get knocked out. Once he can't get the takedowns going, he's pretty much just a guy that he's not really able to stay safe on the feet against a guy like Ciryl Gane, who's got the in and out movement, who can stay at range and pick you apart. I'm gonna go with Ciryl Gane to win by knockout. Okay, guys, that's the full card predictions breakdowns for this card. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And best of luck on your bets, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourself, and I wish you guys the best. Bye now.